Hello, my friends. I am Kathy Weaver, and I am the published author of My Final Footprints and He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back. Two of my books, both about grief and bereavement. All my books are free. So myfinalfootprints.com, as you can see here, not a sales pitch, but an opportunity for us to talk about the things that no one wants to talk about. And literally, today is no different. I have been, well, people call me the death doula, the grief doula, the death whisperer, the grief whisperer, all those kind of things, plus probably other stuff you don't want to know. But when people talk to me and they feel very forthcoming and open, apparently, to talk about grief stuff, I think in terms of the things that people don't know yet. Maybe they haven't experienced yet the death of a close loved one. Maybe they haven't experienced a health journey and a caregiving topic yet. And one of the things I mentioned in my He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back book is once you have read, again, free on my YouTube channel or on myfinalfootprints.com, or listen to He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back, you have earned your PhD, DD, which is personally having dealt with death degree, because you lived some of those things even with me. Today, I wanted to talk about pre-grieving. It's a thing, my friends. It's a thing. You are a caregiver for a loved one. You are walking with someone through their journey of whatever it is. I have a friend right now who is, I would say, documenting his cancer journey, and he's been doing this for a while now on social media. And he's literally, here's my PET scan, here's my this, and he's documenting his journey. And I find myself watching that going, oh, please let it be good news. And I'm into it. He is a superstar friend, a believer. He's magnificent. And so I've been walking with him on social media through that. Other friends, other networking acquaintances, people like that, there's all kinds of stuff out there. It is phenomenal to me how you hear about someone's journey and you're just like, oh my gosh, how does anyone get through this? And again, caregiving is a big thing. The journey of a loved one, certainly their departure, all of those things, homecoming, as I call it, all of those things can be impactful. So I went to my favorite AI companion to type in pre-grieving. So please consider this, and my AI companion knows me so well, we're literally on a first name basis. So I wanted to bring to light some of the things that AI says about pre-grieving. And yes, it really is a thing. Also known as anticipatory grief, it's the mourning that happens before an actual loss occurs, which means in my realm, the person hasn't gone home yet, as I call the death part, homecoming. It happens when someone is facing a terminal illness, a progressive condition like dementia, or a major transition that signals inevitable loss. That's a pretty good definition. So now all of a sudden you have feelings of waves or sadness and you don't know why. They haven't died yet and you don't know why. You're imagining your life. How's it going to affect me? You're imagining your life without them. You're grieving their changing identity from this big, strong, powerful person, whatever their life journey has been. And now they are in a bed or a wheelchair or walking with a cane, whatever that is. Now experiencing guilt, there's survivor's guilt. We all know that one. Once someone has actually passed away, experiencing guilt for grieving too soon. Now you have guilt because you're going, oh, I'm so sad you're going to die. Oh, maybe you're not going to die. I mean, everything's great. You're going to be fine. You're feeling guilty about that. Oh my gosh. You're feeling detached or emotionally exhausted. You find yourself withdrawing from them or feeling drained because you're stressed out about the caregiving piece. How are you doing with that caregiving? And now you're going through many goodbyes, if you will. You have anger or frustration. Why does this have to happen to someone I know? You're struggling with conflict emotion. You may be, you have a little bit of relief knowing that finally they will be at peace. That's not our job. In my case, that's up to God. God decides that, whoever your higher power or your universe being is, and it's up to God. Seeking closure while they're still here. You might try to resolve unfinished business with them, so to speak. Some people are guilting themselves into, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And they never have done that before. It's a seeking closure while they're still here kind of thing. It's a complicated and definitely a painful process. But honestly, once again, when you think about AI has this as such a normal, shall we say, uh, process. So please, again, this is a disclaimer. If you need a counselor or a therapist or a church person or someone in your life that way, talk to someone. That is not my area of expertise. I just share the things that people feel free to talk to me about just because of the death whisperer and the grief doula thing. Other things you think about is the emotional waves. Okay. All of a sudden everything's great and happy and let's go get cheesecake together. And the next minute you're going, oh my gosh, he looks awful. What does that mean? And the emotional waves, all of a sudden you cry unexpectedly. What? You're not even a crier. And you sit there and go, oh my gosh. And it overwhelms you. That is the emotional wave part of the pre-grieving from my experience. Detachment or withdrawal is another thing that my AI companion has offered, pulling away emotionally from that person to protect you from what you know is inevitable. Intense worry or hypervigilance. Now all of a sudden you're going, how are you? What do you need? What are you doing? Can I? And you start going a little bit nuts on them and they're going back off. And so all of a sudden you're worrying so much, it's making them a little nuts, whoever the person is that you're caregiving. And think again in terms of what would you want? And you don't know probably until you get there. But the pre-grieving piece is so filled with massive amounts of emotion. Make the most of the time that you have left, of course. None of us is given the death date, in my opinion, but some people, you can kind of tell when you're getting closer, if you will. And your hospice person or your death doula or your professional medical team would be able to help you with that, of course. Again, this is a total disclaimer. I'm not a medical health person at all. These are just experiences that I personally have had or know people who do. And all of a sudden the role shifts. Okay. Think about this. You're taking on new responsibility as a caregiver. They're taking on new responsibility as a patient. And maybe they've never done that before. They've always been the one in charge. Yeah, I know that one. Guilt or conflict, and think about those kind of things. All of the pieces that of the puzzle that we can't put together yet. Think about the physical symptom topic. Okay. All of a sudden you don't feel well. You're tired. You have a headache. You have loss of appetite or eating too much kind of thing. And you sit here and go, I'm not the one who's sick. But in my experience, the pre-grieving part causes a roller coaster. So please be patient with yourself if you're going through this. You certainly don't want to complain. You're not the one that has the health challenges or the date, if you will, or the condition or the diagnosis, but be patient with yourself because we are all in this together, in my opinion. And the pre-grieving piece, I can't stress this part enough. The pre-grieving piece is real. The physical symptoms, the seeking closure. Okay. I want to have a deep conversation and maybe the person that's experiencing the journey, if you will, doesn't want to. I want to know this and I'm trying to fix that and I'm something else this. If they can't or won't do that, not your problem. And then the spiritual or existential reflection, questioning the meaning of life, death, and your own beliefs in facing the death, the loss of your person. These are all real events, my friends. These are real experiences, real emotions. And then, of course, my AI companion. Pre-grieving is a natural process, but it can be exhausting. If you're going through it, it's important to give yourself grace and seek support, as I mentioned, when needed. So if you need therapy, help, pastors, priests, prayer, whatever you do for your release, talk to a friend, talk to a co-worker or a person that you trust, or again, get professional help, because pre-grieving, everybody is fine when you go to a death support group, something. But when it's a pre-grieve, you're kind of like, what are you here for? She, he, they didn't die yet. And you're like, yeah, but I just can't believe I feel blah, 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 whatever it is. Again, my friends, myfinalfootprints.com. Both my grief books are there, totally 1,000,000% free. In fact, the My Final Footprints is printable. I say things like, do you want your funeral live streamed on Facebook? Do you want your social media accounts up or down when you're gone? Do you want cremation or water cremation or traditional burial, or all the different things that are available now that actually weren't years ago? And isn't it funny? 100 years ago, these probably were available. Now that we have modernized everything, the process of the body disposal, if you will, is back to almost original. So I always find that interesting. But please, regardless of what stage you're in, the pre-grieving, even the mourning process, the be patient with yourself. These are real. These are diagnosable. You can really diagnose this. These are diagnosable for real. And just be kind to yourself and anyone you know. Certainly, if they're going through the death journey, the dying process, if you will, but definitely be patient with the ones who are going through the pre-grieving part and don't know what it is. So thank you for participating in death conversation, because nobody wants to talk about it. And your death whisperer is happy to do that. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you right back here as we talk about all the stuff nobody wants to bring up. Bye for now.